Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at what's going on the market. So we can see that Bitcoin's broken out. Wow, what a surprise. Not at all. I told you it was going to do this. I said specifically yesterday we're going to start to move into the 70s. Not that it was going to happen yesterday, but this week we should be seeing it. And so we are certainly seeing it now. So we've cleared this area and now we've managed to move up to this area. So the next area is going to basically be the previous all-time high and beyond. So looks relatively sweet. Like I was saying, this is mostly driven by a golden cross and the Ichimoku cloud giving us the trend signal, not only on the daily but also on the weekly. So exactly what we were saying these last few days. Well, to be fair, I've been talking about the breakout coming for the last couple of weeks, but yesterday was particularly good, as I call it, or I class it as almost a perfect setup with golden crosses and trend signals. So we've got all of that. So altcoins lagging behind. They're sort of waking up a little bit now, but they're mostly lagging. They're moving, just in the shadows of Bitcoin. So the most useful chart that we can look at to work out if we're going to get any sort of major breakout is going to be the total 2, which requires Ethereum to really sort of, I suppose we'll have to wake up at this stage now. So we haven't seen a breakout on this one. The breakout is going to be when you're above this death, it is a death cross, so above the 200 simple moving average, which is also more or less the same place as the diagonal trend line of this huge descending triangle. We've got higher highs, higher lows, just like Bitcoin really. We just don't have a very strong setup, that's all. We should be getting, and in all fairness, we do have a trend signal on the Itchy Cloud here. It's just not as strong. We definitely don't have any golden crosses on this, but it's getting towards this period now in the market where we should be seeing breakouts anyway, right? That's what we should be seeing. It's always been the case. We were saying we're going to consolidate throughout the summer. We consolidated throughout the summer. Summer's over now, so we're looking for this move out. We've got the move on Bitcoin exactly as predicted. So now what we're waiting for is the breakout, and again, we're waiting for it. We're not predicting it, we're waiting for it. I expect it, but I'm not here going to call for a breakout of this today. Closures above. We'll call it really $980 billion market cap. Now the total, the Bitcoin dominance obviously breaking out here. We are looking at this on the daily with no real sort of signs of major weakness or anything like that. The main thing to focus on is still the weekly, which is giving us this overheated read, and we should be getting a rejection and maybe an alt season at any moment in time, which is why I was saying, and I have continuously said, you need to have your portfolio at this point now. Otherwise, you'll find yourself FOMOing into these sort of rallies like today, which are not particularly convincing, but you might get locked into a position from a higher level. But really, all we're looking at is many altcoins zigzagging side to side with higher highs, higher lows. They are basically accumulation. They just haven't seen the breakouts yet. So all of these areas and all of these coins, they are doing more or less all the same thing. And we're waiting for the breakouts. And we're not going to get a breakout until Big Daddy Bitcoin's finished. And I don't know where Big Daddy Bitcoin's going to finish at. All I can tell you is the trend signal is still in play. The golden cross has only freshly been born. We could see a retest of these areas easily. We could come back down to 63,500, easily. And still maintain a bullish bias. We'd still have the golden cross, and even at this point now we'd still have the Ichimoku cloud's trend signal. So just remember that if you do see a big dump like that, it is probably a buy the dip opportunity. It's not all over, like I imagine everyone will say. It's over, man. It's wrecked. It's over. Well, no, I don't know. It's not. It's not. Right, so that would be that, and that would be that. So let's have a look at the S&P on the weekly. Lots of bearish divergence on this. So this makes it a little scary, I suppose, moving forward. Nothing's perfect. There's no straight line in any chart. There is a lot of warning signs on the S&P for what could be a bigger correction. I'm not here to speculate as to what happens before or after elections, but I've lost a lot of trust in in politics in general. I do feel like we're living in some kind of random, weird simulation where anything is possible. Maybe there will be an enormous piece of FUD that will be the tipping point which would have collapsed this chart, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. It's it is scary on that weekly. So we'll just tuck the weekly at the back of our mind for now and focus on the daily, which again has got bearish divergence, and it's sort of like it's a bit crooked. We could easily see this come back down to the trend line 5,650, get picked up again just on a natural pullback, which is still a big pullback, which you would imagine would the Bitcoin and crypto would reflect that, even emphasize that. So again, as bullish I am on crypto markets because of the way they look, and also the way that they slot perfectly into the cycle, and they are still basically matching my expectations from over a year ago. You do have to think about other things as well. You can't just focus on one chart. I always say this on the Patreon, and we're doing a live stream tonight. If you want to join the Patreon, there's links in the description below for that. But I often will say, you've got one altcoin chart you want me to look at, so let's look at that altcoin chart, and it looks good, so we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. If it was traded in a vacuum, it would work, but it's not, because it's vulnerable to everything else. One altcoin on its own is powerless if Bitcoin comes down, and Bitcoin is as often powerless if the S&P comes down, or if gold comes down, or if Dixie goes up. So, and then you've got it, before you know it, your altcoin chart that you're looking at, which had everything on it to suggest it was going to go up, goes down. So, the technicals to each individual altcoin, to a large extent, are obsolete unless you look and focus on these other charts as well, because you need to, You could be, I don't understand. There was everything, it was, and everybody said it was going to go up, and it had the greatest setup I've ever seen, and it was supposed to go up, but then it went down. I don't understand. You were wrong. It's not about you being wrong on that setup. The setup you were right on. It's you were unfortunately unable to reflect on the broader markets which influence that chart, whether it's super bullish or not. Right, so that is that. I will make some more altcoin videos today, and so fill my comments with suggestions, and over the last few days I'll see who's how many comments of the same altcoin have come through. I think that's fair. But if you want to take it further, join the Patreon, and we'll be looking at loads of altcoins tonight, usually for a couple of hours. Right, thanks for watching. Take it easy.